The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
Ray Magliozzi here. I don't cook much, but when I need ingredients for my car, eBay Motors has 122 million options. So whether I toasted my transmission or cooked my clutch, eBay Motors has all the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthmacore Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
you have smoked yourself retarded.
here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
Welcome back to the Weedsman Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron.
Insert witty comment here.
I don't know, what's everyone talking about? Super Bowl?
Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, well, that's...
Was that a good game? I didn't watch the game, but I just watched the halftime show, actually.
You know what? I did see something. I heard that allegedly social media was saying that between the halftime show and the commercials this year, Super Bowl is a love letter to Gen X. And, you know, I'm okay with that. It's about damn time. It's been all boomers and millennials for the last fucking 5 years.
Yeah, I guess I see their point. People said a lot of crazy shit about the halftime show that, like, when I actually did watch it, after, like, you know, seeing everybody's comments about 50 Cent and whoever else, and I watched the thing, I was like, that was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know how anybody has anything bad to say about that.
It was great, and I did joke with my friends. I was like, well, here it is. Here it is, everybody. We have aged into the Super Bowl halftime show.
And honestly,
they're either shooting for like mid 40-year-olds or they're shooting for like 21-year-olds with the halftime show. It seems like the last 10 years.
right.
You know, because there was a couple years ago, and it was like Travis Scott and a bunch of other fucking people that I don't remember because it's newer shit. Like, or it's like, you know, fucking Tom Petty, right? Or,
Well, I didn't necessarily get a love letter to Gen X vibe from the performance itself or any of the themes about it. I mean, if it was just that all those on stage were all Gen Xers, well, then that, you know what, there was a lot of fucking talent there.
all right, well, first thing I noticed,
So if that's a love letter to Gen X, I'm really flattered because our generation's really fucking talented.
yeah, we had awesome music.
Yeah.
It was one of the first things I noticed. Maybe it's the lighting. Apparently it does crack. Because Dr. Dre looked like a 60-year-old black man. And that's okay. He is a 60-year-old black man.
See, I thought everybody looked really good. I thought, like, even people were saying that, like, oh, what happened to 50 Cent? He looks bloated. You first see him hanging upside down. Everybody's head looks bloated when you hang upside down for, like, more than 30 seconds. Yeah. And then when he stood upright, he looked good.
Also, 24-year-old
fat.
Let's see you at 46. Let's see you put on 22 more years.
I wouldn't tease him.
You still gonna look like you did? How long ago in the club was what? 03?
Yeah.
So, yeah. You think you're gonna look as good as you do 19 years from now? No. And yeah, he'd still whip your ass. He's still swole. And what was
maybe his head got a little bigger. I don't know.
And what people were saying with Snoop's, I mean, this is the internet just really like being some hammers looking for nails. They were saying his outfit was a shout out to supporting Ukraine because it's blue and gold, or he's in L.A. where the L.A. Rams are playing, who have blue and gold.
Yeah. Also, he was crip walking.
Yeah, that too.
And it was designed like a bandana. So whose flag do you think he was flying?
Yeah.
The man who crip walked on the stage and wore a giant blue bandana.
So under the category of
I'll give you two guesses.
Of is it racist? I joked that before that. Hey, is the Trap House going to be a part of the halftime set? It was. So I mean,
it's the what?
As I joked, was a Trap House going to be a part of the halftime set?
A Trap House,
and it sure was.
What was a Trap House?
Like a house in the hood. You know, like when they had that set with like the bars on the window and the living room.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't know how social media did not lose its mind over this. dancers in prison uniforms?
I don't know what. So
Well, I mean, so it's not racist if black people do it. I mean, you didn't notice that there was like 12 dudes in prison jumpsuits doing choreographed dances.
yeah. So what?
I mean, okay. I'm just looking for consistency out of the social media mob, I guess.
I don't know. They didn't have a problem with Elvis when he did it, and his song was about blowing dudes.
Well, true, but also Twitter also was not a thing in 1954.
I don't understand what they're supposed to have a problem with, though. Like, what's the proposed offense here? That
Maybe we're casting aspersions on the hip hop culture with having a bunch of guys dressed like they're in jail.
Yeah, but it's kind of all part of I mean, it's Death Row Records, right? That was the common theme that ties all these artists together. Dr. Dre.
We've all been to jail.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's you're repping the label, right? And they dress that way.
I just thought
that's how I took it.
That just made me kind of go, huh? Like we don't. Oh,
have you? By the way, have you ever listened to the lyrics of Jailhouse Rock though?
Well, no. It's ward through party in the county jail. Prison band was there. They began to wail.
No, it starts out innocent enough, but it's definitely about prison sex. It's like, fuck it. It's all dudes here. I guess we're going to party.
Let's see. The prison band was there. They began to wail. The band was jumping in. The joint began. Spider Murphy played the tenor saxophone. Little Joe was blowing on the slide trombone. Well, okay.
That might be a euphemism, or maybe they just actually had a trombone in jail.
The drummer boy from Illinois went crash, boom, bang. The whole rhythm section was the Purple Gang. No, see that? Really? Jews in the rhythm section? Come on, Elvis. Okay, here you go. Here. Okay, and here's your prison sex verse. I'll give you this one because I don't think this is a co-ed jail. Number 47 said to number 3, "You're the cutest jailbird I ever did see. I sure would be delighted with your company. Come on and do the jailhouse rock with me." Okay, yeah. The jailhouse rock, butt sex. That's what I got.
Why are you calling people cute in prison?
Yeah. Sad sack was sitting on the block of stone, way over to the corner weeping all alone. The warden said, "Hey buddy, don't you be no square. If you can't find a partner, use a wooden chair." Whoa!
or the warden's nightstick, possibly. Shifty Henry said to Bugs, "For heaven's sakes, no one's looking. Now's a chance to make a break." Bugsy turned to Shifty and said, "Nix, I want to stick around a while and get my kick."
Oh, it means he can't go back to the ladies.
He missed his chance to get out of jail because he needed to get his rocks off.
Yeah. He said, "Gay for the stay. Fuck that. I'm gay forever. I'm never leaving."
He said a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
And 2 in my hand means 2 in my bush. I will never listen to that song the same way again, especially when number 47 starts telling number 3 he's cute.
But that must have been early days in jail. They have much longer numbers now.
Right?
They could get it. They could get everyone in 3 digits.
I'm still hung up on the Jewish guys being the rhythm section. Maybe they'd be the songwriters. Maybe they'd be the entertainment lawyers.
They were the producers.
Yeah. The Purple Gang. I don't know.
But yeah, not to get us off the halftime thing, but I was thoroughly impressed with everyone's performance. Like, everybody sounded really good. Dre sounded all right, but look, Dre's always been the weakest link when it comes to the rap game. He was bringing the production game and the label and all that to it. And then he was like, "By the way, write me some verses," Yeah,
it is well known. Snoop wrote The Chronic. Eminem wrote The Chronic 2001. And I'm willing to bet Kendrick Lamar wrote the third Chronic, the one that didn't do so good.
Probably, or I think he had a lot of people helping out on that one.
Because that came around when Kendrick Lamar was being touted as Dre's new protege.
Right.
And usually when Dre is being touted as having a new protege is when he has a new album come out, and that's who wrote it.
Yeah. Look, I think nothing of it. Dre's like, "Hey, if I write an album for you, it's probably going to be a hit, right?
Well, yeah, they're not hits without it's chocolate and peanut butter, right?
Yeah. So
you're not getting that hit without Dre's beats.
I bring the beats, and you let me get in on the. And I don't ever hate Dre. I think on album, they're always competent. It's not like they stick out like whoa, like you let your cousin get a couple verses in, like it doesn't throw you or anything. But yeah, Dre's always. He sounded okay, and that's okay for Dre. Everybody else sounded fucking. Mary J. Blige sounded fucking amazing. I didn't hear anybody doing any lip syncing. There was a little bit of double tracking for Eminem.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the way that the structure of the chorus goes.
Ooh, and he took a knee, and he was told not to.
Did he take a knee? When was it?
When he came up.
Oh, okay. I guess I missed that. I think Snoop looked like he was taking a knee for a second, but it turned out he was just smoking a joint.
Because he can. Because it's California. No, but there's. I didn't think they'd do California Love because no Tupac, but they were doing like what a verse from each song.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I expected.
And everybody was like,
wow,
why is Mary J. Blige going so long? I'm like, because it's all you're getting of her. And they're like, no. I'm like, bet me.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. There are too many other names. There's too many other people to get to.
Yes, and also I thought it was structured perfectly in that way to make her kind of the focal point. Everything kind of built up to that and then rolled off the back of that performance.
Well, let's be honest, too. She was the only singer in that group.
Right. Plus, you put her, like, if you have her do that last while everybody else is on stage, everybody else might as well not be on stage when she fucking busts those notes out. Because nobody's going to be looking at Dre.
But no more.
You give Mary her spotlight, you give her performance, and then she comes back on to support you.
But
not
no
to
more
fucking
drama.
blow the crowd away.
That was my only issue with her performance was her second song.
Man, there's so many more songs that I would have rather heard, but I thought that I had forgotten about that track, and I was like, man, that's a pretty powerful
She
song.
could have thrown it old school and done Real Love.
Dude. But that's pre-Dre days, right?
The song we know her for, the reason why we know her. Real
My
Love.
Life was, that was my jam, my favorite. But Real Love is, that's going way back.
And I didn't realize this. We had to look it up. I did not know. And it makes sense when you hear the music. Dr. Dre did the track for Family Affair.
Okay.
Because we were like, yeah, why should, and it's like, that sounds like and then sure as hell, yeah, Dr. Dre made that track for.
It looked like, so the first band that was playing with Dre was definitely Nothing Was Plugged In.
Oh, no.
I mean,
yeah. During
doing those little guitar samples. No,
that guy was not playing.
No,
I just
he was not playing that. We know that. But when Eminem came on, that band was definitely jamming.
Oh, and Dre played the piano for the Tupac.
He played, yeah. And I don't know, he might have just been, I don't know if that mixer was hooked up to anything, but it looked like he was actually mixing the band while they were playing, and it was really cool.
And I'm surprised they did songs that had Nate, but again, they didn't get to the Nate Dogg parts.
Right.
And I was wondering if there was a prop bet for, the phrase, hey, 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 smoke weed every day, be said at the Super Bowl. It was not.
No, Dre knows. He knows business.
They made him take out Still Not Loving Police. Did you notice that?
Yep, I did notice that line.
And hey, my version, he does not say, it's the one and only D-R-E. That's not what I have. He took out all the swear. Well, of course, you can take out all the swears for the Super Bowl. But it's just funny, knowing the real lyrics.
Well, I mean, that's all out of his and the label's pocket, right? Nobody pays them to play at the Super Bowl. So
no, from what I hear, they just get all their costs covered. They get for the show, But as far as getting money, no.
Yeah.
But both because I guess I was hearing this morning. I guess last year, J-Lo and Shakira, their streams went up 8,000%. I guess that's what you're in it for.
Yep. And now, I mean, also, if any of those acts want to go on tour, those shows are probably going to be packed after seeing them at the Super Bowl. They're going to be like, yeah, I want to see Snoop Dogg come back through. But I mentioned earlier, all the crazy stuff that I had heard about it that didn't line up at all with what I watched when I actually did watch it. And one of the most insane things is all the people saying how every dude over 50 was pissed at the halftime show. Every white dude over 50. And here's my meme to prove it.
No.
And like, show me some examples. Like, if you have somebody, if some wacko is actually tweeting about there's too many black people on the fucking halftime show, then go ahead, retweet them, call them out, do it. But now you're just making shit up to be mad about. Yeah. Now you're just imagining people out there that are, I can just imagine there's some people out there that are mad that there's so many black people on TV, and here's my meme to prove it.
How old do you think, like, do you need a calculator? Like, guys who are, like, in their early to mid-50s were, like, in their early to mid-20s when The Chronic came out.
Yeah.
This is music they listened to,
It's
dummies.
2021. This shit's been around a long-ass time. It's the culture.
The Chronic is literally
Right?
30. The Chronic will
Like,
be 31 years old this year. Doggy
If a-
Style turns 30 this year.
If a racist-ass person watches that shit, they're going to continue to be a racist-ass person, right?
Yeah. Guess what? They didn't like black people fucking 30 years ago when it came out.
Right.
Yeah, do you need to know the age of these black people that were on your television set? Because Dr. Dre's a couple years from being able to collect Social Security. All right, Snoop's probably starting to get mail about getting an ARP card, okay? And Snoop was 19 when Doggy Style came out.
God damn.
All right, Mary J. Blige. All right, she's probably starting to have hot flashes. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to give you a perspective as to the age of these people.
Yeah,
Eminem's the young buck. He's pushing 50.
Yeah, I thought they all looked and sounded really good, though. I was really impressed.
Yeah, no, it was the first halftime show I can say I've ever been at with my friends where we all were shut the fuck up and we're watching. Like, ever. Like, usually we're all talking, bullshitting. Oh, hey, who's on? Who cares? Blah, blah, blah. Let's get another drink, smoke a joint. Yeah. No, we were all...
Usually you're like, that's what a Josh Groban is.
Yeah, no, we were all gathered around the TV watching this shit. And it's unfortunate. It's like we all knew what Eminem was going to play, right? That's what we were. We were like... They're like,
yeah.
I said, of course he's going to play it. One buddy's like, you sure? I'm like, yes, because Lose Yourself is the song that middle-aged white ladies knew before all the women we hang around with became middle-aged white ladies. Like, yes, that song was a mainstream hit 20 years ago. It's, he's had many, many hits, but when they always say if you're an artist, all you need is one, that is his one.
Yes.
Like, remember that, the Ace Awards, that interview Adam Carolla did with Will.i.am when Prince congratulated him on his one when he was talking about.
Oh yeah,
I've got a feeling.
You got it. Yeah,
that's Eminem's one. That is his musical immortality.
I feel like when this group sat down, everybody, like, Dre was probably like, look, you're playing Lose Yourself. You're playing in the club. Yeah. We're playing our biggest hits, except for Mary, who can play whatever she wants because she can sing whatever she wants, and people are going to be knocked out. Mary could have gone up there and sang 2 Beatles covers, and people would have gone nuts because she just has the fucking talent.
See, now, I have no issue with them opening up with... that wasn't the next episode. Next episode's what they closed with. But
the one with the guitar sample?
Yeah. But, I mean... if you would ask me, I would have.
I never remember any of the song titles.
I would have put
that album.
10 G's on. They're opening up with Nothing But a G Thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean they're in L.A. It's the Super Bowl. It's Dre's biggest hit ever. It's Dre and Snoop. It started the whole thing, but instead, no. All you got was like one little 4-bar lick, of Nothing But a G Thing, where nobody even sang anything. It was like a transition into someone else's song.
Oh yeah.
Did you watch any of the commercials?
I did not. Yeah, nothing interesting there.
Everyone needs to stop trying to save the fucking world. Oh my God, that's there's always going to be a handful of clever, funny commercials, but it seemed every fucking commercial is all this the good vibes. We love everybody and everything. We're going to change the world. This and that. Blah blah. No, shut up. It's what your marketing departments have told you people under 30 want to hear. Okay, I am well aware. an oil company really don't give two shits about the environment. Okay,
Sure.
I know little tiny Chinese hands make my iPhone. You don't have to lie to me. But yeah, there was really nothing. The only really memorable one, I think you probably heard talked about in Adam Carolla, the Larry David one.
Oh yeah, that one sounded pretty good.
Yeah,
Legitimately funny.
yeah.
Commercial. It's something you see often.
I mean, Peyton Manning's always good for a laugh here and there.
Is he a funny dude?
Yeah, I mean he's a meathead who knows his limits, and he's one of the few athletes that's hosted Saturday Night Live, and it's been funny. Like he has a sense of comic timing.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired their personal trainer as a caterer.
All right, folks, let's keep this line moving. You there with the tongs. Picking up one Duchess potato at a time will not cut it at my catering table. Drop and give me 50.
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Okay, this is what we call the wild mushroom and asparagus dip, and press. Come on, let's get those plates above your heads.
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Make sure. Jim.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me.
We're on the air.
I need to try it first.
With zero sugar and refreshingly delicious, is Coca-Cola Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Pick some up at your local supermarket today. Enjoy basketball, soccer, and all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using bonus code JERSEY and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. Plus, when you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. Download the BetMGM app today or go to BetMGM.com and enter bonus code JERSEY and place your first wager risk-free up to $1,000. Now you're winning with the king of sportsbooks. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. New Jersey only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Are you using opioids? Have you tried to stop using on your own without success? ARS Turnersville can help. We have day and evening hours available for admissions and treatment. Call today or just walk in. Our compassionate counselors can suggest methadone or Suboxone as part of a treatment program. Substance use counseling without medication is also available. Call 856-352-5999 today and start your recovery.
ChristopherMedia.net. The Weedsman Podcast.
Did you hear that they're rebooting Futurama again?
Yeah, I saw. I was going to send it to you. I was like, "What is this? Third or fourth time?"
It's kind of weird. Yeah. So
how does this keep? Do people just find it and then like newer and younger people just keep going? Hey, how about?
I think this might actually be the fourth time. I think you're right because it was originally it was an early slot on Fox, right? It was like 7 or 7:30, I think. Yeah. And then it didn't do well in that time slot because nobody watches stuff at that time. And then I think it went to Comedy Central or something.
Cartoon Network.
Okay, yeah, went to Cartoon Network. Did another 3 seasons there. Then got canceled. Then they rebooted it, but the third reboot is the weirdest because it's essentially they made 3 movies and then they took those movies and they broke it into 22-minute episodes and had that be each a season, right? So there were 3 seasons that all tell one continuous kind of story, and those aren't the best, honestly. The original 4 seasons, 3, what was it, the original one? Was it 3 or 4 seasons? Those are still the best.
Well, I think when we had this discussion a few weeks ago, didn't we they had 7 seasons?
Yeah, I think 7 seasons, and 3 of those were the movies. So yeah, 4 seasons. 1 with Fox, 3 with Cartoon Network. And I think Cartoon Network ended up doing the movies too. And now it's going to, so another reboot. I mean, I don't know. The second reboot is almost like, it's not really a reboot, really. They just kind of went over to another network. And if you watch season 1, you watch season 2, there's no difference between it. There wasn't a huge change. So like the first 4 seasons have some continuity. They haven't successfully brought it back with the same original vibe. And now they're down a man.
No Bender?
So,
is Bender gone, or is just the actor gone? Are they going to just, because he's not a robot and only Robo-Americans should play Bender?
That was in question until I guess there was a statement that he made, and I just saw it before we started recording, so I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I've got it up here. This is from actor John DiMaggio, who does Bender. He posted this on his Twitter. I've been thinking about everything going on these past months, and just to be clear, I don't think that only I deserve to be paid more. I think the entire cast does. Negotiations are a natural part of working in show business. Everyone has different strategies and boundaries. Okay, so this is about money. Their price. Some accept offers, some hold their ground. Bender is part of my soul. And no, I'm sorry. Bender is owned by Fox, right?
Yes.
Bender's not part of your soul. Bender was a job as a character. I mean, like, you might feel really attached to that character, but you don't own that character. It's about self-respect and honestly being tired of an industry that's become far too corporate and takes advantage of artists' time and talent. Look, I wish I could give you every detail so you would understand, but it's not my place. Thanks again for the love, everyone. Still hoping for the best. In the meantime, I'll be in New Orleans shooting Interview with the Vampire for AMC. He gets a plug-in.
That's someone with fuck me money, though. That's people who can take. I'm not downing the guy for his decision, but
Absolutely.
People who can generally make those type of decisions usually got the money to make those type of decisions.
Well, what if John DiMaggio, what if he signed on? What if he signed on for those last 3 seasons that they did, those movies that they did with Cartoon Network, and the money wasn't great? But he was like, oh, I can't pass it up. I love this. I love Bender. I love these people. I want to work with. All right, I'll take it. I feel a little insulted, but it's Cartoon Network, right? And then what was the end of the result of that? Some inferior product, quite honestly. Episodes that don't stick in my memory the way those original 4-season run episodes did. And so maybe he looks at that the same way and go, okay, so I took a pay cut. I didn't value myself well enough, but I did it because I wanted to do it. And where did that get me? So nothing, right? Nobody really reruns those episodes. Those aren't the loved, episodes of the show. And maybe he's just looking at this situation as like, oh, well, so they're just going to run this through the machine again just to pump out some product that's going to be inferior, and I'm going to not get paid as much? No, fuck that.
Yeah,
where's the win for me?
This time he's like, hey, we want to dust this off. 4th time around is going to cost you more.
Yep.
You want Bender? You got to pay. What a Bender move. Hey, you want Bender? You got to pay.
Yep.
Bender would say that.
And honestly,
Bender don't roll out of bed for less than ...
It's you've got a pretty big cast of regular characters there, and all of them, I feel like you could have. Bender's the only one that you really can't nix off. Like, even Fry, you could take out of the show and still make it work.
No.
But Bender, you would have to replace.
The whole point of the show is Fry is stuck in the show revolves around Fry's situation.
It's
the whole fish out of water.
True. Right. No, absolutely. But they haven't, like, in the original run, they stuck to that, In the newer movies, no, Fry's just another character. He's just stupid. At a certain point, it stopped being about, like, oh, Fry doesn't understand because he's from another century, or another millennium. It's just, this is a stupid guy, and he's not going to get it no matter what.
Kind of what they did to Homer?
Yeah.
Well, I should say what they did to Homer around 2000. I've heard that the last maybe 3 to 5 years of The Simpsons, they've kind of found their footing again. Probably means they just changed writers.
Yeah, I keep hearing that, and I look at it, and I go, okay. Well. I think it's, maybe this is me being biased, but it's just too clean.
No, it's when Homer was stupid and didn't know he was stupid, That's what made it funny.
And he also wiggled a little bit.
Yes. When they started making Homer stupid on purpose and him leaning into stupid, that's where you lost me. When he started becoming like fucking Curly from the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, the Three Stooges have their place. But, yeah, it just... The type of comedy that the Simpsons had going on, and where they just kind of, and again, they switched the writers, right? They switched into, and what's funny is, if you look at it, it's when they probably started putting in writers that were our age at the time, or we probably started not liking it. When they probably started shifting to the early to mid 20-somethings, like, oh,
right,
all the writers we had 10 years ago are now pushing 40. Time for a new batch.
That doesn't, just because they can't get John DiMaggio doesn't mean that they can't use Bender.
Yeah, but...
Like, what if they just gave him a robot voice?
But I get what he's saying about Bender. Like, what I've learned listening to rewatch podcasts is on most long-running shows, the character ends up just becoming a hyper version of the person playing them.
Okay.
So there are probably elements of John DiMaggio in Bender that no actor will be able to bring to the role.
Yeah, that may be. I mean, I think that applies more where, like, in more modern sitcoms, like, The Office, Parks and Rec, the characters aren't really fully defined. Like certain shows, you have well-defined characters from the get. They have an idea of, they know exactly what they want to do with these characters. But with ensemble casts like that, it's just kind of let's mix it up and see what happens. So of course there would be more exaggerated versions of the actors themselves. I don't know. Animation's a little different. This all has to be scripted out. There's not a lot. You can't do improv with animation. It's expensive.
Okay, well, I guess more about what I'm getting at too is just delivery and timing, right?
Yeah.
But
all I'm saying is, like, if you're
going to say, "Bite my shiny metal ass," a little different than the person who replaces him.
I think that if you got somebody to replace, I would just get a computer literally to replace him if I was doing it. I would say, we lost Bender's original voice, and
go the Stephen Hawking route.
And just go straight robot voice, and he says all the classic Bender lines,
but it's shiny
like,
metal
bite my shiny
ass.
metal ass. And then he can also be frustrated with that he can't express himself well enough or something, and really hang a lantern on it.
My favorite episode ever is still Remember Me.
Oh, it's gotta be. See, and that's why even my idea would be a long shot and probably fail. I think you can't have the show without him, because that is like the best episode of the whole thing. And it's driven purely on the personality of Bender, and that is created not just through the writing, but through the voice performance of John DiMaggio.
And you could also argue Fry and Bender are kind of a comedy team.
And, there's probably, like you were saying, that it ends up being an exaggerated version of the real act. Maybe there's something to that in this, that, like, they give him those snarky lines, and he delivers them so well that they start leaning into it. Like, oh no, he's really good at delivering these types of lines. Let's give him more. So I'm not trying to discredit what he brings at all. If he's not going to be in the show, I don't know if I have much interest in it, honestly.
Same here.
But who knows? They've got a lot of. I mean, look, not to say that like Billy West is any slouch. Like, that guy's a vocal genius.
Speaking of a guy with fuck me money.
Yeah, of all the people that could say, "Nah, you're gonna have to pay me more." You'd think it would be that guy.
Well, no, he doesn't have to, because he's got 9,000 gigs.
He's also certifiably insane. Have you ever? Well, he's been on Adam Carolla's show, hasn't he?
Oh yeah.
Dude, you should hear him on. You think that he's wacko on Adam Carolla's show? Catch him on Gilbert's show, on the Gilbert Gottfried's Colossal whatever podcast. He's been on there a few times, and the two of them are just insane together.
Man,
He's just like stream of consciousness.
I'm gonna IMDb Billy West,
and he'll have whole conversations. Like he'll do all Three Stooges at once.
You're getting into Robin Williams territory, like manic.
Yes, but not as fast in the delivery. It's not like he moves at a breakneck speed. He's like Robin Williams on Quaaludes, just free associating.
Jesus, his IMDb, it's just fucking.
I can't even imagine.
Well, it's tons of cartoons.
Well, think about any character that they've like had to revive. He's their first stop.
Yeah, I mean his first.
If they want to it's not so much about like I don't know if he gets a lot of new character. I still see his name all over the place, so I'm sure he's doing fine.
He's filled in for Mel Blanc a few times for some of the Looney Tunes.
Exactly. When you already have an established character voice and you need to reproduce it, he's the guy you look to because he can usually nail it.
Everyone forgets though he was also Stimpy.
That's true.
Fry, let's see, and then just cartoons. Just, yeah, I mean, he's been on Robot Chicken. I mean, he's been on it seems like any cartoon made in the last 30 years, he's got a credit on it.
Yep.
Wow, he's played Fry a lot. And not just Futurama. He was Fry on The Simpsons, apparently, in 2014. Oh, that's right, they had that crossover episode.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of crossovers, that you watched it, unless they showed it during the Super Bowl, the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
What?
Have you seen the
Charles
preview
what
for the
now?
new movie? Yeah.
What's that?
We get wait, did you say Charles?
Come on, it's from 30 Rock.
Oh.
She used to go, Charlie what now? Once she dropped a Charles what now?
I thought you were making reference to Professor X.
No.
Because he shows up in it.
So is this Marvel and what is this two things crossing over?
The X-Men are Marvel, but this is the possibility of bringing in actors who had played X-Men in the movies that we know from the Fox movie series.
Are we going to get Patrick Stewart?
He's in it. Yeah,
Oh.
Patrick Stewart is in it. He shows up.
Xavier back in town.
And the theory is that, and this is a pretty solid one, that he's part of the Illuminati. So in Marvel Comics, the Illuminati is a group of superheroes that kind of they come together for a common purpose of just overseeing the protection of Earth, like getting rid of cataclysmic events before anybody else even knows that they happen, right? And so that's Iron Man's on the team, Professor X, Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four, Namor, the Submariner. I think Black Bolt is on there, although I don't think they'll try and bring the Inhumans back.
Submariner?
But that means, so Submariner is another character, and Mr. Fantastic certainly, I doubt they'd go with Namor. But Mr. Fantastic that's another character who everybody's like, okay, when are we going to see the new the new Fantastic Four? That could be a way where they introduce this. Hopefully they don't do the same thing, and I don't think they're going to try and bring any of the previous versions of Mr. Fantastic back. Although one of them is it was a bad movie, but a good actor. What's the Whiplash dude? The young kid in Whiplash. He was the young Mr. Fantastic in that last Josh Trank Fantastic Four reboot. That was really kind of horrid.
I don't know. The only Fantastic Four I know had Chiklis and Elba.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to bring... I mean, maybe it would be funny to see Michael Chiklis pop up, and just say something about that Yancey Street gang, and then that would be it. But I can't imagine that they're bringing those actors back.
Can we squeeze Alba into I don't care if she's 40, can we squeeze her into a skin-tight suit one more time? Or is she too busy being a cosmetics billionaire.
I don't know what she's doing these days.
No, that's what she does. She made the pivot. She sells makeup and hair care shit now. She's making that real money.
Well, that also could mean that they could bring RDJ back, because if they're doing the Illuminati and this version of the Illuminati would, if this is what they're doing, would be pulled from the multiverse, right? So it wouldn't just be a vast array of characters. It would be, Professor X from this universe and an Iron Man from this other universe. And so they can just put those. For some reason, some people think that they still think that Tom Cruise is going to pop up as Iron Man at some point.
Why?
And I guess they could do that, but I can't imagine Robert Downey Jr. hearing that and going, "Wait a minute, I can't come back as Iron Man? Why?
What is this?
Why are you going to give it to him?"
Did somebody popular in the fan community just put this out on Twitter and people have run with it?
I think
pictures of
some
Tom
point,
Cruise.
I think that Tom Cruise was considered early on for Iron Man and was kind of into the idea.
Like before RDJ or like recently?
Yeah, I think before RDJ.
I was to say, didn't they? Spoiler alert! Didn't they kill Iron Man?
Yes. Yeah, but if they're doing Multiverse of Madness, then they can. It doesn't matter who died when or where. Like, there's always another version out there. So that allows you to not only go, oh, we can bring, Patrick Stewart back, we can bring Robert Downey Jr. back,
Scarlett Johansson,
or we could just recast and go, oh, in this universe, Iron Man's only 5'4".
And now Black Widow is really black.
There you go. And all of a sudden her name is problematic.
Now Black Panther's a white dude.
I can't see him doing that.
That would not work. People be throwing up the W, and it would stand for, what the fuck?
So I don't know. I love the idea that Patrick Stewart is kind of into this shit, right? He's willing to come back and play Picard again in his own series. He's willing, it wasn't too long ago that he reprised his role as Professor X for the Logan movie.
Well, he's probably a smart man who realizes,
now he's doing it again.
This is how I get roles right now. Comic book movies.
Yeah, well, I imagine it's kind of pretty fun, too.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm sure doing Shakespeare is very rewarding.
We're not generally a Star Trek crowd around here.
Yeah.
But I can generally say, I think at this point, the debate has been settled, and the greatest captain is Jean-Luc Picard.
Absolutely. And I wasn't a huge watcher, but that was he was certainly one of the reasons why I did watch.
People 10 to 12 years older will fight us, than us would fight us on that, because they're from the school of James T. Kirk. Yeah. But as far as badassness,
any metric,
just general badassness. That's my metric. All right, James T. Kirk didn't have "Make It So." All right, just no Picard. Just.
If you really break it down and look at those early episodes, Captain of whatever, he was a pretty bad one. He was kind of a loose cannon. The Captain Kirk was.
They're always getting lost.
Fucking aliens.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Who knows what?
Punching aliens with both hands over your head.
Who knows what intergalactic STDs James T. Kirk brought back with him? Maybe he's the AIDS monkey.
And they talk about our first tenet is do no harm or some shit. Like, they're not supposed to interfere with the development of other society. That's all they do.
Yeah, the phaser's always set to stun when they encounter somebody different.
They do.
Yeah.
Show up, fuck some people, punch some people, fuck some shit up.
Yeah. But we come in peace.
Yeah.
And Janeway, nothing to do with her being a woman and everything to do with Voyager.
Well, that was I'd never watched any of Voyager. That's one of those that people they talk about now. They're like, it's not as bad as you think. I'm like, okay, well, thanks for that. So now I know I never need to watch it.
And the only thing Janeway was good for was helping me recognize her when she played Red. Like, oh, hey, that's Janeway.
Oh, that's right. She was that same actor that was on Orange is the New Black.
She played Red.
Yeah, she was really good in that.
I was also like, damn, Janeway got old. And then I did the math. I was like, well, and then is there any the new wasn't the movie good and everything else has been like? Well, isn't there a lot of good word of mouth about the cartoon that's out?
There seems to be. So I listen to Word Balloon podcast. It's mostly comic, but generally nerd universe stuff. And they talk a lot about Trek. The host is a huge Trekkie, and he's been I watched the newest, the first season of Picard, I should say, and it was horrible. I mean, it's a really poorly written show, and I can see where he's coming from. But apparently the cartoon, there's two cartoons. So there's one that looks more Rick and Morty, and it's a little more wacky. And that one's still bad. But the Prodigy one is it's cartoony, but it's more just kind of stylized, more like, I don't know, preteen oriented. And it's actually supposed to be really good. That one's on my list to watch because I have Paramount Plus for a little while longer to check out. And I watched enough of Yellowstone to know that I'm not going to be able to watch that show.
Just not so you won't be watching 1883?
I may, because Sam, what's his nuts? What's the lead on that? I want to say Watterson, but that was the Law and Order guy.
Is it the Jurassic Park guy or the other guy? Which Sam Elliott? No.
Sam Elliott.
Yeah, that's the Jurassic Park guy, isn't it?
He was in it. He was in Jurassic Park?
No, I'm thinking of somebody.
I don't think he was. No, Sam Elliott he's the cowboy in the Big Lebowski.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Have it your way, dude.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's that guy. Sometimes you eat the bar.
Sometimes the bar eats you.
you.
I'm thinking of Sam Neill, by the way.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he was in Jurassic Park.
Okay, yeah, no, Sam, yeah, it's a big, giant, cookie fucking crumb catcher mustache.
Yes, yeah. Yosemite Sam looking motherfucker.
Played Ron Dunn in Parks and Rec, where he shaved the mustache and looked weird as hell.
Yeah, he was on at least one season of Justified, too, with the no mustache. And I was like, your upper lip's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, and you rock such a great mustache. I don't know why you would do anything else.
Because he can.
So I don't know. But speaking of Paramount Plus, I guess that's where all the South Park is going ultimately. By 2025, that's the only place where you'll be able to watch South Park is Paramount Plus. And that's where the Beavis and Butthead revival is going to land.
Well, I'm on the last month of my 2-year contract. So, Xfinity, bye-bye. You'll stay on for internet. But, again, I'm back to... it's purely for cost reasons.
Yeah.
It was
just in time.
I'm back to having too much TV to watch again. So, I don't need all that TV.
Just in time for the latest round of price hikes for the streamers. Netflix just went up. Amazon Prime just announced that they're hiking it up to $14.99. Although, little known fact, if you're not interested in the shipping benefits or reading benefits, it's only $8.99 to get Amazon Video by itself. And that's well worth it because they have a pretty deep library.
The one I might actually shit can is Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix has been dragging ass. I hear that new show that they have with Will Arnett is like a kind of murder mystery improv thing. Mm-hmm. I hear that's supposed to be really good, and I'm willing to. But again, at this point, I figure at $15, I feel like I have to rack up 5 shows to watch before I'm going to pay, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep track of it and go, oh, okay. I now have 5 things that I want to watch on Netflix. Okay, I'll pay for a subscription for a month. I'll watch those 5 things, and then I can move on. I'm not paying them $15 every month for what?
Exactly, because the 3 I noticed I use regularly are Peacock, Amazon, and Hulu.
Yeah.
All 3 of those have everything I want to watch, new and old.
If you just replace Hulu with HBO, that's where I'm at.
And that's the thing is I will probably get rid of my Xfinity cable and slide HBO Max in there. And then boom, now I got everything. Maybe even toss in I will still be paying far less than what I was paying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just have all the TV.
So we should talk about some weed news before we get out of here.
The reefer.
And what is going on lately? One of the most concerning things was MJ Biz Daily reported on a rash of robberies in Washington State. And of course, we know why these places, well, there's two reasons why these places are being targeted. Mostly cash business and an untraceable product with high street value, right? They can take they can take cash from the place, and they can take weed and just sell it on the street. So the weed might as well be cash too.
Yeah, in a sense.
Yeah, in 1 month span, more than 30 robberies of cannabis companies. Right. Now, this is the type of statistic that some people who are pushing against the NIMBYs, I don't want this stuff in my backyard. They point to statistics like this as evidence for their case.
And
but
it's the inverse.
It's short-sighted, as we know, because it's the cash ultimately that's drawing the attention. And the only reason that people are paying for their weed in cash is because they have to.
Yeah. You're driving them to the black market.
Yeah.
How many times do we have to say this?
So again, we've made a lot of progress with legalized weed. There's a lot of people who have access to it. There's less people being jailed. There's less people getting tickets. There's a lot more freedom, but there's that one last step that we still need to do. Get it off that schedule, that federal schedule, and that's the only thing keeping the banks from participating, right?
Yeah.
That is the only thing. Like Schumer is trying to write a bank bill right now and get support for it, which is short-sighted. Because the root of the problem is it's on Schedule 1. You take it off Schedule 1, the banks no longer have, it's no longer overseen by the DEA. The banks aren't going to have to be worried about being accused of money laundering.
Chuck, at some point we're going to start wondering, are you receiving money somehow for that thing being on Schedule 1? Not you personally, Chuck, but the government. Is it more profitable somehow for you to keep it on Schedule 1? Because from our side of things, it looks like those dominoes have fallen, and they've fallen pretty quickly. So, at some point we're going to start thinking there's shit you're not telling us.
Yeah. And in response to this, I guess the Washington Senate passed a pot shop protection bill. And what this would do is, if you're convicted of robbing a cannabis retailer, that would automatically add a year onto that person's sentence. So if you got a year for armed robbery, but it was at a cannabis shop, now you got 2 years. It's an interesting approach. I see where they're coming from. I don't know that an extra year on a sentence is going to be a deterrent to anyone, because ultimately it's not, it's not even like they're looking at it like, whoa, should we rob the liquor store or the cannabis store? The liquor store ain't got cash either. People paying for their liquor with cards. They're going to the cannabis store because it has all the cash. So I don't know if that extra year, and also it doesn't make sense, right? I understand the reasons why, because they feel like, oh, these places are being targeted. But again, it's another law, just like what Schumer is doing. It's more laws when all you have to do is get rid of one thing, right?
The solution
you're trying to
more government, it's
right.
Less government. It's roll back the government you already have in place.
This whole structure of laws and oversight and everything, and we're trying to keep it safe and make it, and you can solve so many of these problems by just tackling it at the top instead of creating more and more laws.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, no. It's in this case, if you roll back one law, it creates the quote-unquote laws you want to create, sort of.
Bill sponsor Senator Jim Honeyford is quoted as saying, when people would ask the infamous bank robber Willie Sutton why he robs banks, Sutton simply replied, because that's where the money is. Well, that's why people rob marijuana retailers. Due to federal banking rules, these businesses are almost entirely cash-only operations, making them a target for robberies and a magnet for criminals. Okay, so how do you say that sentence and then come to the conclusion that another year on a sentence would solve this problem. I mean, I understand that you're a state senator and, maybe it's not your place to start proposing what the federal government should be voting on. But, I mean, you should at least, sure, you're taking measures to protect the people in your district, I'm sure, right? But it should at least be said that all of this could be avoided if it wasn't for the federal government.
If you think somebody is willing, I mean, these are arbitrary numbers. I'm just using it to prove my point. Mm-hmm. You think if somebody's worried about, not worried about doing 5 years, they're telling them they're going to do 6. Oh, now that it's 6, never mind.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, even like if I was to try and put myself in the thought process of a criminal like that, it makes no sense. Like, why would I go? So you want me to break into the place that has almost no cash because we'll only get 5 years instead of break into the place that definitely has a lot of cash and we could get 6 years.
Yeah. I'll take the risk with 6 years and a bunch of cash and a chance to get, disappear further into the ether. Yeah.
Versus risking 5 years in prison over what might be a couple grand? Or do you want to take the big haul and risk it all? Honestly, all you're really doing is just codifying their decision. Like, that's just clear. Like, we've got to be robbing the pot shops. There's no point in risking time for any place else that might not have enough cash because everyone's paying for everything with card.
Yeah, if you knock over a liquor store in this day and age, you're dumb. Like, that's one of I was out of management for a few years and I got back in the last few months. Yeah. And that's one of the things I noticed is the deposits. Like, I mean, it used to be thousands of dollars.
Yep.
Now it's maybe a few hundred.
Yep.
You do $3,000 in sales. You're taking $200 to the bank.
The only people you're getting money from is like white dudes over 50 that were mad that Dr. Dre was on the Super Bowl halftime show.
And bring it all back around. Yeah, because that's who's only. I mean, that's probably only really carrying cash anymore.
Exactly.
All right. So any more weed news? We wrapping it up on that note.
I think we can wrap it up. I know you got another gig to get to, so we'll leave it at that for this week.
Yeah. Follow us on the social media at Louisiana420 on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. Go to ChristopherMedia.net if you'd like to help us out. Hit the PayPal button. Hit the Amazon banner. That's how you can help us without doing any heavy lifting, so to speak. And wherever you listen to us, rate us, review us, 1 to 5 stars. We appreciate all forms of feedback. It helps other people find the podcast. So if you like the show and you'd like to help us without paying any extra money or at all, that's how you do it. Rate us, review us. You help to spread the word. And until next week, stay high.
Stay high.
This message comes from sponsor Constant Contact, helping small businesses and nonprofits stay connected with customers, grow their audience, and do more business. With email marketing, list growth tools, automation, contact management, social ads, and more, Constant Contact helps small businesses and nonprofits reach their goals faster. An easy-to-use interface and thousands of integrations deliver big marketing results. Start your free trial at ConstantContact.com.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.